Elton John and Your Song on BBC Radio Oxford. It's 22 minutes to 4 right now. It's Friday afternoon. That means a load of new movies came out today. So, if you are thinking, well, what shall I go and see this weekend? I fancy seeing something in the cinema. Well, movie critic Van Connor comes on the show with me every Friday afternoon at this time just to talk about two of the new movies that are out and give his honest opinion on what he thought. Good afternoon and welcome back to the show, Van Connor.
Pleasure as always, Mr. Ball. How's your week been?
Not too bad at all, actually. You're looking nice and tanned on the old video screen I can see you on right now. You've been in the sun?
Do you know, I seem to have caught... it's the Arab genes. I catch the sun like nobody's business. I absorb the sun like a Kryptonian, which is very fit.
I'm very jealous of that, Van, because I'm kind of the opposite. I just go red. I just, it doesn't work with me. All right.
The Billy's
Right, so the two we're going to look at, The Flash in a moment, which I've been kind of teasing all afternoon, actually, because a lot of people have been looking forward to it. It's got a good cast. We will see what the movie was like in a moment. But first, you would like to start with Greatest Days. Of course, there's no... it's quite easy to understand what band this is about with a title like that.
Clearly, it's Boyzone. I mean, obviously, the time has come for the Boyzone musical. Roland and the boys finally getting their time on the big screen.
No, thankfully not.
It's, of course, the feature film adaptation. I think the stage show was called The Band.
Yeah,
wasn't it? It's the Take That stage musical. It's now been adapted for the screen. Stars Aisling Bea, Alice Lowe from Prevenge. Matthew McNulty, I think, is one of the boys, and Dan Wootton from Bad Education is in there as well. And right, first of all, it's not specifically about Take That, right? Okay, the music is all Take That's music in the same way that Mamma Mia has all of ABBA's music, but it's not about ABBA. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a separate story. So the idea is you've got a band called The Band or The Boys. They're never specifically named. They're having, this big concert tour, and there's a radio giveaway for tickets to go to Athens and see The Boys / The Band. And one of their biggest fans, played by Aisling Bea, wins said contest, reunites with all of her old gal pals who she hasn't seen for 25 years since they were all, 90s teenagers, and they were all like obsessive fangirls of said band. And they reunite to go to Athens to go to the gig. And before you can say vacation getaway jukebox musical, all of their old secrets and all of their old gripes and all of their old conflicts are all flooding back to the surface. And the stage is set for, a toe-tapping good time. So I'll give you a listen, and prepare to sing along, because it is one of those.
Win tickets to see your favourite boy band reunite in Athens. Are you ready?
I am ready.
Today this could be.
Are you screaming yet, Rachel O'Flynn?
The greatest day.
Big fan, eh, Rachel?
I'm their biggest fan in the whole entire world.
Do you know who you're going to take with you to see the boys?
It's 25 years.
Double trouble? Where is Rachel?
Here I am.
You ladies are up front.
Surely any Take That fan is going to have a good time watching this.
Absolutely. And you know what? That means it's the ultimate mums movie for this weekend. The Full Monty Boys are back on telly, and Take That have a musical in cinemas. So you know what? The mums are in for a hell of a weekend this week, I think. And I say that as someone who has watched most of the Full Monty series this week, which I have to admit I'm kind of a fan of. I was kind of surprised at just how many of the lyrics to how many Take That songs I actually seem to have retained by osmosis.
Oh yeah.
Now, I will say, I mean, personally, I think it's complete rubbish. It's like a 2-star movie that's propelled to 3-star Sauvignon-powered gusto, really. But I've seen worse ones of these. I saw the Proclaimers one, Sunshine on Leith. So I know this is not the worst it could be. But this is no Mamma Mia. But you know what? It's still a good time. It's one to, just get together with the girls and have a good night at the pictures. You won't really regret it, I don't think. Just, spring for the popcorn and the cocktails and just have a good time. Sing along. Just get your groove on.
Right, great. Well, there you go. If you want to go and see it, Greatest Days is out in cinemas already. So if you want to go this weekend, you can. Now, the other one that we're going to talk about, a lot of people have been talking about this, and I can already tell which way this is going to go from your reaction. It's got a great cast, but I know you've said this to me before, a great cast does not necessarily mean a great movie. And you jumped straight as an example to Cats, which, okay, I'll give you that.
I mean, Cats had a great cast. I mean, the word cast is is an anagram of cats, so that should tell you, what we're talking about here. A good cast does not make a good movie, it turns out, and no, that's certainly not the case with The Flash. Okay, so feature film solo outing for Ezra Miller's iteration of The Flash, who I think we've now seen in 3 or 4 movies, because one of the movies we had to see twice because the Joss Whedon version and the Zack Snyder version. Frankly, I'm not sure which one is worse. Now, in this movie, Barry Allen, the fastest man alive, discovers completely by accident, despite having already done it twice in 2 of these movies, that he can run faster than the speed of time, and uses this running faster than the speed of time ability to go back in time, and faster than you can say Back to the Future 2, decides to change his mother's murder, literally by moving a can of tomatoes. It's worth noting, and alters the future, removes all of the meta-humans from the timeline, and finds himself spat out into a Biff Tannen-like darkest timeline version of the events of Man of Steel. Because if Fast X taught us anything, it's that you go back to the movie that the franchise clearly hinged on the most, the big high watermark. So why not go back to one of the worst comic book movies of this century? So yeah, and in this iteration, he has to team up with his younger, less powered self. They have to seek out this universe's version of Batman, who it turns out is much older and still somehow played by Michael Keaton, because he's the Tim Burton version. And they have to, recover the sort of government-incarcerated, interrogated, and experimented upon version of Superman, who in this universe is in fact Supergirl, played by Sasha Calle, who incidentally has more charisma in her little finger than Henry Cavill has ever had in his entire soul as Superman. I've got a clip for you that highlights everything they want you to care about in this movie. So here's the 2 Flashes in the Batcave.
I used to see this thing on the news when I was a kid.
Now, if you get this Superman, then you're on your own.
You are here.
Yeah. I'm Batman.
Wow, the score sounds incredible. I'll give it that.
The score genuinely is incredible. You know what? It really is. Ben Wallfish, that meme where he's got where the composer's playing a piano on the beach and the piano's in flames. He's doing that all the way through. It's absolutely. And Andy Muschietti, directs the hell out of it. There's some great visuals in here. It is just a shame that those visuals are very quickly sunk by some of the worst visual effects this side of a PS3 game. And that is all the way up to and including Ezra Miller themselves as the actual Flash, because in the actual suit itself, we're talking Ryan Reynolds' Green Lantern 2009, 2010, whatever the year that was, territory. This is bad. This thing is ghastly to look at. This thing is so abhorrent to put your eyes upon that we owe Quantumania an apology in retrospect, because that thing now looks, in contrast, like 4K tropical vacation footage. Now, for a movie that's all about letting go of the past, you would not believe how heavily this thing is leaning on nostalgia. And I do mean leaning. You ever seen a Matthew McConaughey rom-com poster with the white background where he's leaning on some hapless, poor put-upon actress to carry the movie? This is that level of leaning. Like, this is really leaning hard. And if you, like me, can't stand the presence of Ezra Miller, well, brace yourself, because you're getting not 1, not 2, but 3 of them in this, and each is increasingly more irritating than the last, up to and including one that seems to be impersonating crazy roommate Eddie from Friends and spends every 10 seconds letting out the laugh, as if to kill my soul 1 inch at a time. Michael Keaton's just about holding the thing aloft, but even he seems to be in a waking coma whilst doing it. Sasha Calle, though, like I say, got some charisma. I just can't, for the life of me, understand. I mean, obviously, I can understand what was going on with this, because they needed to end the Snyderverse, and they needed a way to do it. And if you're going to do it, every comic book reader knows there's only one story at this side of Crisis on Infinite Earths, which had already been done better on television anyway, up to and including its crossover element from this, which incidentally features a CG grave robbing sequence that will make your skin crawl. And frankly, if it doesn't, you have no business watching films ever. There is also a cameo in this that is going to be of amusement and interest to maybe 1% of the audience, and they will be the nerdiest 1%. I am amongst that 1%. Incidentally, I'm a Kevin Smith fan, so I am in that 1%. I'm just going to say the words giant spider, and if you get that reference in relation to DC Comics and Superman, congratulations, you two are in that 1%. The other 99%, however, are going to spend those 15 seconds, rather like I spent the entirety of this movie, just wondering what the hell you are looking at, how this passed through an editing suite intact, and just what anybody thought this hodgepodge Frankenstein's monster of a movie, how it stood even the faintest chance in a modern multiplex in 2023. This is the worst tentpole of the year. And I say that a week after a Transformers movie. Unbelievably, I can say that a week after a Transformers movie. But you know what? The DCEU is dead. Thank God. No more Snyderverse. It goes out like it came into the world, badly. And I'll be glad to see it. I'm just glad to see it die. I really am. No more of this. Can we have good movies now? Can we finally have good movies with these characters? Please, anybody. Just can we have one of these actually be, I don't know, Shazam level, or the Suicide Squad level, or Harley Quinn level? Just give me another good one. We've had 3 out of like 12.
Don't hold back, Van. Be honest, you know.
You know me. I'm not one for keeping my feelings to myself.
I mean, I'm gutted they didn't use Queen and Flash in this. I mean, that was a great opportunity, wasn't it?
Flash, saviour of the multiverse. Yeah, that would really work, wouldn't it?
Brilliant. Well, I mean, if you want to go and make your own mind up, you know,
Don't.
You can if you want.
Don't.
It's been.
I mean, I would advise you not to.
It's been in cinemas since Wednesday, I think, hasn't it?
It has, yes. I mean, half the audience seem to be idiots and love it, and the other half, well, rightly, seem to be appalled by. Put it this way: there's a moment in this movie in which Ezra Miller, who, let's not even talk about what they've been up to in reality, literally winks to camera whilst making jokes about how badly the Justice League handle mental health treatment, which might be the single gag in the single worst taste of anything I've heard this year. And believe me, if you knew about some of the awful PS3 level visual effect cameos in this, that's really saying something.
Wow. Okay. Well, if you do want to make your own mind up, it is in cinemas right now. Ignore Van. You can make your own mind up.
Don't.
Don't. What have we got next week? Hopefully, some more interestingly fun and happy and nice movies to talk about.
We've got a comedy about Jennifer Lawrence grooming a teenage boy next week called No Hard Feelings. Wes Anderson's got a new movie called Asteroid City next week. I mean, I'm going to see Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny next week, but I'm not going to get to talk about it for another week after that, sadly.
That better be good. I'll be very disappointed if
better.
Yeah.
Come on, I lived through the last one. I mean, it can't be any worse than Crystal Skull, can it?
Absolutely. No, absolutely not. Until then, have a lovely weekend. Enjoy the sunshine, and we'll catch up on Friday next week.
Till the next time, good sir.
Thank you, Van. Right, it is 9 minutes to 4. It's BBC Radio Oxford. Here is a tune to turn up in the sunshine right now.